Right, the moment is here. We're ready to take you live to the Accra International Conference Center, where the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining is about to launch Ghana's brand new policy to govern the sector of small-scale mining here in this country. Let's go there now live for all the proceedings.
We also have the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Asumachere Me. We have the Honorable Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Honorable Kofi Jamesi, the Minister for Interior, Honorable Ambrose Derry, the Minister for Defense, Honorable, okay, I'll skip that one, he's not here. The Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, who is also, we're hoping she joins us, the Honorable Hajia Alima Mahama. We also have the members of the vetting team here. As we move on, I will introduce them to you. We also have stakeholder partners. I will also introduce them to you as we move on. But right now, let's have an opening remarks from Mr. Charles Bisu, who is the secretary to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The chairman of the Interministerial Committee, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, General Emmanuel Ochre, National Security Advisor to the President, Mr. Simon Osei-Mensah, Ashanti Regional Minister, Honorable Cecilia Dapa, Minister for Water and Sanitation, the Information Minister, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, and small-scale mining. I must admit that it's been a challenging journey, but with determination, fortitude, and visionary leadership from His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the preconditions outlined in the roadmap had been implemented. Hence, we've called on you to adore the government's policy framework on regularizing the activities of mining operations in the country. So to formally open this meeting, I'd like to welcome all of you to the launch of the government's policy framework on mining operations in Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bisu. Please give him another round of applause. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly we will have the airing of a 15-minute documentary, but while we prepare for that, let me once again announce that this program is live on Ghana Television and its regional FM stations, JoyNews, Adom TV, Joy 99.7 FM, and Star 103.5 FM. But as we are all aware, the media has played a key role in this Galamsey fight, and we would also want to acknowledge the support of the following media organizations: GTV, TV3, City FM, City TV, Joy News, Asempa FM, Adom TV, Oman FM, Star FM, Kasapa FM, Metro TV, UTV, TV Africa, Angel TV, ATV, and Atenka TV. A big thank you to all these media organizations for their support. We'll also want to say a big thank you to our agencies and stakeholders: the Minerals Commission, the Water Resources Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Forestry Commission, DVLA, NAPCO, which is the Nation Builders Corps, and the University of Mines and Technology. As we prepare to watch the 15 minutes documentary, I'll also want to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Minister for Information, the Honorable Amadou Kia Esiameje, who has also joined us. If, Honorable, you could just give us a wave. Thank you very much. We have members of the vetting committee also here. I would ask that we watch the documentary. After the documentary, I will introduce them. So if you're ready, camera, let's roll.
Last year, this year the big me kwa sorrow. Your pa sorry na me ko enkoko. Nti enkoko no one no friend say me ko. Omo de fifidi asim atu koko ni nyina de agufo. Me ko hwe yampa. Mo tu koko ni nyina agufo. In fact, the eye no wafo mo no Nyankopon hata wo no ide. Because nka me de me nim sempanifo asa say de jame. Nanka medua asukoko anka daachi bi me ma benya so emfaso no o man ka hwe o ma tu koko yi nyina gu esan esei asase.
Just one activity is on the verge of destroying the very fiber Ghana is made of, and stopping it has become almost impossible. Ghana, known formerly as Gold Coast, is on its way to be known as Polluted Coast. The reason behind this is the almighty Galamsey, the local name given to illegal mining in the country. What used to be a traditional craft with less environmental consequences has been transformed due to the introduction of Chinese technologies, which is having an effect on almost everything.
I said, I want to take you with that. I never see what I do this way. I know a human couple, or when you better than see or from. What will you think, Judge? Mamma, you have here. One of our quarter, if you go over and not on the right event, but you go to Bedvike. None of us want to go, immediately, I have any.
The activities of Galamsey in the country involves crude and wasteful methods, which produces one of the stiffest challenges to public health. It involves methods that use water and alluvial mining techniques that cause devastating pollution of rivers, streams, and lakes. Toxic chemicals such as mercury that have long-term health implications on communities for generations are released into these water bodies. Farm and forest lands are being destroyed to mining. These consequences have pushed the government to set up the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, IMCIM, and commissioned the IMCIM Secretariat.
During the electioneering campaign, the flag bearer stated that when Ghanaians vote for him and the New Patriotic Party, he's going to ensure that we sanitize and restructure the artisanal and small-scale mining sector.
We were immediately confronted with a situation where the water bodies were polluted, the soil was being degraded, the forests were being depleted at a very fast rate. You may know that at the turn of the century we had about close to 9 million hectares of forest in Ghana. Now it is down to 1.6 million hectares. And the rate of deforestation is about 2% per year. We also noticed that the major rivers in Ghana were polluted to the extent that the Ghana Water Company could not process water in many of its water treatment plants. And so something had to be done.
The president formed the Interministerial Committee to deal with this matter. The committee was formed as a sub-cabinet committee, and it has about 10 ministries that are collaborating to sanitize and restructure the artisanal and small-scale mining sector.
When you know that the activities that they're involved in are jeopardizing the very survival of our nation, I took the decision that there would be a betrayal of the trust that the Ghanaian people put in me on the 7th of January this year. And as a result, we established this committee within the government to design a policy for us, not just to stop it, to reclaim the land, to let our rivers work again, but also to see how we can figure a way for all these able-bodied young men who are involved in this activity to find an alternative livelihood. So it's a package. It's a package that we have designed to try and bring this menace to a conclusion. I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps this is the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter. I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. And I'll say to myself, well, this is a choice that all of us have to make as human beings. You do what you think is right, or do you do what you think will allow you to get along? I think that you do what you think is right. That is what you're required to do.
Ghana's legal mining partners play an important role in Ghana's economy as it attracts more than half of all foreign direct investment, FDI, generates more than 1/3 of all export revenues, and the largest taxpayer in the country. Galamsey, on the other hand, is depriving the country of its major resources like minerals, forest cover, water bodies, agricultural lands, and our priceless possession, citizens of Ghana. One of the major government bodies at the forefront of ending Galamsey is Operation Vanguard.
I'm in constant touch with the Operation Vanguard team stationed at Abosu, which is also within my municipality on constant basis. We have a program of action that is based on information gathered at the various areas within my municipality. We team up and move down to flash out some of these illegal activities, which is of a great harm.
1,360 operations in general since they've been there. They've arrested during that period 1,533 persons. They've destroyed one of the most effective architecture on the river, which you call Chamfine. They've destroyed 6,184 Chamfines. They have confiscated from the users 251 excavators. They have processed in court and gotten convictions of 141 people.
Many operators of Galamsey are of the view that it has become their source of livelihood. Although many are observing the ban as expected, some are still indulging in Galamsey activities after more than a year that the ban came into effect.
2 weeks time obey ban Netflix 2 weeks time so say ni nim say nim say kai say so Friday etwa mi nim say bia obey ban Netflix ntina man da and e start here ya tin say on nga sama by 3 years ago o ma fokoku na yedi aka portion kitwa nti 3 years na yenya adwuma no as it fina ho check akra na ma ana graduate machine kwese ya kwa machine mamu machine o da bi rent here o ko rent how rent to one rent fee India for no India for how ma be to go right o mo bogos we na twa mo ya some renting machine but renting machine okay you can 5 days not my one 12,000 cities yeah I rent it 120 million 120 million I'm to yes as can edit for renting machine the more Canadian sanity they are from but I want to share no into my box because they are not fear for so many na ban na here say jumana na be transfer we be jumana NPI but yes you have attend your so we be band na my in fact they on collect school first school is na I'm say free just no I free but yeah magugu fiance ya sharp bonus my tini ku out him say na or left band in the but
it's affecting agriculture in a way which is very insidious, in the sense that it's not something that you can see happening in a day or two. But definitely it's affecting the way agricultural resources in this country are being utilized. If you take the forest region, for instance, it's to do with land, particularly in the cocoa growing areas. Gold is more valuable than any other agricultural crop.
In the Galamsey areas, many children of school-going age are enticed by the monetary gains of Galamsey, which leaves them with no motivation to get educated, thereby increasing school dropouts in these areas, a phenomenon with severe implications in the future for Ghana. The gaping holes created by illegal mining have trapped and killed many children, women, and farmers. Such deaths always make the headlines and die with the passing of time. What happens next either encourages or discourages the Galamsey menace.
The ministry has developed a program for alternative livelihood. First of all, identifying the illegal miners, the Galamseyers, and making it a community activity. Assessing the situation, assessing the socioeconomic needs of the place. The ministry has the Department of Community Development. They have their decentralized department at the district assemblies. They worked with the national office, the ministry, and the Community Development Department to assess the situation and came out with the assessment report. And that became the database for us to use to develop a program, an alternative livelihood program. And about 5,000 people registered interest, 5,000 Galamseyers. So we identified the institutes and the training requirements and what they had, what they were interested in. Where we don't have the capacity, we will bring a resource person to provide for that. So far, the areas that they've identified include building and construction, electricals, plumbing, masonry, and mechanics. And through the interministerial committee, funds have been released for that, for the assessment and for the identification and the training. So as I speak, 500 of them are in schools, are in seven vocational institutes now, 7.
To help curb the menace, reduce its negative effect, regulate and monitor it when the ban is lifted, government is training drone pilots and small-scale miners at the University of Mines and Technology to make sure small-scale mining won't ever pose a threat to our very survival as Ghanaians.
They've learnt drone flying, they've learnt photogrammetry, and they've learnt GIS. What I've started seeing that the level of confidence has been boosted. They are very confident because the training is not only focusing on training them on how to use the drones and just processing, but then we try to conscientize them about the responsibility of a citizen and the role that they have to play. I told them that they are heroes, and if they are able to do the work well, that's how we'll be considering them. So they should see themselves as part of the solution. Just after the training, you have a drone to yourself, and you are going to help your district to fight against illegal mining. And so the task ahead is great. You are ready to help the country to solve this problem.
We have indeed learned a lot of things. And I think by the knowledge we have acquired here, nothing is going to prevent us from doing the right thing when we go back to our various places.
Sika yenya no Galamsey no ene edi no Ghana ha na eno kire se ohun se ye stop Galamsey wa hu se obia se yento ade obia se na dwuma ye nkoso ene kore because Galamsey so mo ye 1 million let's we are moving nipa 44 times 1 million we are talking about 4 million nti se I can tell you say nipa 4 million etifie a o madwuma nkoso school fees kwa bi entie bi twia na ade nti that tells you say I say serious about the Galamsey. Name I say you're responsible. I say you know, send a ya and ha assassin, na haya kasa. You show ya
we even want to use this opportunity to apologize to many Ghanaians that have received that bad aspect of our operations.
I can say that because of the general support that the president has amongst the Ghanaian people for this fight against illegal mining, there somehow is an acceptance by even the illegal miners themselves that this is in their interest and in our interest and in our collective interest as Ghanaian people. That appreciation, I must say, is there.
First, so the machine for yes, if you be say be if a quabia before you be DBI before you did, but you could train in the buy now who said the experience in woman. Is the who said the paying for no kind and quarantine say a nimpa for no and no more agreement. It is your training like Kobai, so I may I can't one boom. It is here the area and say another woman.
I want to thank the Small Scale Miners Association. They've been very, very cooperative. You know, we know it's been tough this 1.5 years, but that's the nature of things. We need to make sure that we preserve our biodiversity, our land, our water, the soil, and everything, so that we can survive. And we will put in measures that will help us not to go back to the way we were doing things. We also thank the Media Coalition for assisting us. We thank our chiefs and opinion leaders. And we want to appeal to those who are hiding and doing the wrong thing, that please let us do the right thing so that we'll get the money that we need and also preserve our forests and rivers and soil.
As a government, we promise to ensure that the life of every citizen is protected and the environment is safeguarded. This, we believe, will be our only way to bequeath the nation, and future generations will also benefit from it, and our desire as a nation to achieve the goals outlined in the SDG framework by 2030. The fight against Galamsey is a fight for our survival.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we give the committee a round of applause? A lot of work has gone into this. Shortly, we will have the the new policy framework document launched, and we'll get to know what is in this document. Before we move on, let me quickly acknowledge the presence of the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, the Honorable Hajia Alima Mahama, who joined us. We're also joined by the Honorable Barbara Otinjesi. She's a Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and she's representing the Sector Minister. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have in our midst, or we're privileged to have in our midst, the ambassador, the Chinese ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Shi Tin-Wan. Thank you very much. Okay. My attention has been drawn that we also have the other Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Benito Bio. I beg your pardon if I have pulled it. Thank you very much. Let's now get to meet the vetting team. They've done a great job. Professor Richard Amankwa, who is the chairman, if you can just give us a wave. Thank you. Professor Anthony Simons, Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Akrofi, Dr. Sylvia Mante, Dr. Joseph Gordon, Dr. Nadi Detego, Dr. Michael Adua, Mr. Kofi Tete, Engineer Ransford Sechi, and Dr. Lumo Mauli. Can we have them all rise so we acknowledge them? They've done a great job. The vetting team working very hard with the committee. Thank you very much. You may have your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we would want to hear from our stakeholders. And we'll begin with Mr. Godwin Ama, who is the General Secretary of the Ghana Small Scale Miners Association.
Yeah, good morning. The chairman of the Interministerial Task Force on Illegal Mining, Professor Frimpong Boateng, honorable ministers, MMDCs, Nananom, fellow miners, ladies and gentlemen. Next year marks 3 decades of adoption of a legal framework for artisanal and small-scale mining in Ghana. Although ASM has helped to improve the livelihood of indigenous Ghanaians and contributed to revenue generation, Nazim recognized that mining should be done in a well-regulated and responsible manner, using sustainable methods. Illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, has been on the increase over the years due to several factors. It has resulted in a lot of environmental issues, including pollution of water bodies, erosion of topsoil, unreclaimed mining pits, etc. To address this challenge, government placed a ban on ASM, which unfortunately affected licensed ASM concession holders. Members of NASIM has been through unwanted hardship for the past 22 months of the ban. However, we have dialogued and supported government to find a lasting solution to the challenges of illegal mining. We have spent over 1 million Ghana cedis as an association to support our task force to clear the river bodies of dredges, popularly known as Chamfan, and arrested several illegal miners. The task force of Nazim is still collaborating with Vanguard to clear our water bodies. In the coming years, Nazim will embark on a self-regulation drive to support the government. We in turn will need the patience and support of well-meaning Ghanaians, the media, CSOs, and international bodies. Nazim has taken advantage of government's community mining program to register illegal miners and prospective miners to be incorporated into the scheme. In the past 22 months, Nazim has benefited from support from governments and international bodies like the International Labour Organization through its Caring Gold projects, and which have been rolled out in 2 administrative districts to eliminate child labor in mining and improve working conditions of miners. The Adanse North District and our municipality are beneficiary of this laudable project. We are witnessing this memorable occasion today because of the relentless efforts put in place by the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining and its supporting agencies. We have seen their enthusiasm and sense of professionalism. They deserve our recommendation. In the coming years, the Ghana National Association will deploy a task force both at the national and then the local level to augment government's efforts to continually raid the small-scale mining space of recalcitrant and unpatriotic illegal miners. Just like yesterday, whilst we were preparing to attend this all-important program, some Chinese miners were busily degrading our lands at Ankam in the Mansu area. However, our task force has stopped them and brought them to the Interministerial Committee to be given to the appropriate agency for further investigation. Nazim will effectively implement our peer review mechanism to promote sustainable mining. We will also identify and register prospective small-scale miners and show the way for them to mine responsibly. And also, we will implement the engineering model that is designed and developed to track the activities of small-scale miners. All members will sign a code of practice agreement. The code of practice, among other things, includes KPIs that will be set for concession, and those KPIs are complying with the buffer distances of mining concession as stipulated by the law to eliminate pollution of our river bodies and streams. Compliance with all regulations like the taxation, proper law keeping to ensure good accountability. The reduce or elimination the use of mercury by adopting the mercury-free process in line with the Minamata Convention. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to solve these challenges of illegal mining effectively, the relevant state institution must be well resourced to work very well. We have come a long way as small-scale miners. We, with the help of Almighty God, will reach our destination. For the coming years, we see a vibrant, sustainable, small-scale mining sector that employs millions of Ghanaian youth, develop rural, urban infrastructure, create entrepreneurs, and give opportunities to contribute to sustainable, to stabilize the local currency. We see an industry with all the proud. We see an industry which we will all be proud as a country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that was Mr. Godwin Ama, who is the General Secretary of the Ghana Small Scale Miners Association. We'll continue shortly, but if you are just... Another round of applause for him, if you want to do that. Please go ahead. Thank you. Shortly, we'll have the policy launched by the chairman of the committee. But if you're just joining us, you're watching the official, or I should say the national outdooring of government's new policy framework on regularizing and reforming mining activities in Ghana. And this is being launched by the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining here at the Accra International Conference Center. We've been joined by heads of government institutions, civil society groups, traditional leaders, the clergy, stakeholders in mining, the media fraternity, as well as citizens of this country. We are live on GTV and GTV Govern and its regional FM stations, JoyNews, Joy 99.7 FM, and Star 103.5 FM. So right now we'll hear from Mr. Ray Parker. Mr. Ray Parker was an illegal miner. He's from WA, and he's very, very expectant of this new policy. Let's give him a round of applause and hear him share his story in 2 minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I must apologize most sincerely for I don't have a refined English language, and I wish I speak in my language, that is Wale. But unfortunately, I've not seen the Minister of Interior who have given me the interpretation, probably for the General Chair of the family. All protocol observed. I am ashamed. I'm ashamed today to be here to associate myself as a Galamsea. Today, standing here, before then, I was very proud of my profession. I was very, very proud of being a Galamsea. But today, after a short view of what has happened, I really wonder whether this has taken place in Ghana. Our side of it, the story is different, but all the same, it's Galamsey. All the same, it's Galamsey. I was surprised to hear a call from the Secretary to the Interministerial Commission, Mr. Bisio, sorry. They came sometime back, 2 months back, the Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, together with him and some other dignitaries, and called all of us together. They charged me to call every Galamsea. By then, they were with soldiers. I thought they were deceiving us to gather ourselves in a room so they will take they will come and bunch us and take away. I said, we will not come. Upon a second thought, I said, okay, wherever you need us, we'll be there for you. It was on that platform we dialogue. Sorry for the English. There was a lot of discussions on in Galamsey, the effects, and what have you. So I asked him, Mr. Secretary, so what is the alternative program that you have for us? If we say we should stop, yes, we'll stop, and do what? And do what? He said we should form ourselves into groups so that it will have what we call community something program. So, and I said he should pledge with us that they are really going to put us into those groupings and then bring mineral commission, environmental protection, and they will license us. So since then, we already pledged with him that we'll put ourselves into groups, and then we'll stop that Galamsey the very day we took that pledge with him. And actually, we stop. If you ask the minister, he will tell you, the DC will equally tell you, we stop all over the region. We stop all over the region. There's a company called Azuma. We've been worrying him, but today he will confirm that there's no more worry over his concessions. But as time goes on, we from the Upper West realized that all the programs that they've been going, not a single one has been trained for. Not a single person has been trained. And not a single person, right from the day of Nkrumah till date, has a small-scale mining license. But we are also interested in the mining. So I will plead that the government community program, they should put it in place so that we fall in line, and then we'll be licensed to do these things. I thank you very much for this initiative. I'm very grateful.
Ray Parker from WA. So our final stakeholder who will speak to us is Nana Benyin Franklin. He is with the Nation Builders Corps, and they are also stakeholders working with the committee. As we wait for Nana Benyin to join us, I see him coming. Okay, Nana is almost here. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Chief of Staff, Mame Akosua Frema Opare, the Honorable Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, who also doubles as the chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Nananom, ministers and their deputies, MMDC is present, all other protocol observed. It is with enormous delight to share our experience with you since you were engaged to help the fight against illegal mining menace. The Nation Builders Corps was recently outdoored by His Excellency, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. 140 NAPCO graduates were enrolled by the IMCIM as drone pilots to help with monitoring. The Nation Builders Corps I must admit that even though we have been here for a few weeks, that did not prevent us from playing our part in this crusade to deal decisively with illegal mining activities. Not only have we been trained to man drones for monitoring purposes, but we have also received basic military training at the Sichare military camp to help the process. Mention must also be made of the fact that though our stay in this outfit was short, the little we have seen, the meticulous manner in which things are done, and the manner in which attention is paid to details have shown us that, indeed, the battle can be won if we collectively contribute our quota to this fight. On behalf of my colleagues, I would like to assure you, His Excellency, and all Ghanaians that we shall not betray the trust and confidence reposed in us. We shall work hard to justify the investment made in us. It is by living up to expectations can we all have a better tomorrow and envisioned by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic. This journey is long and stiff. This journey is curvy. And the road moves like a pattern. This journey is one every effort, every penny being sunk into it. Your Excellency, we promise to be citizens and not spectators. We are grateful. Thank you.
And I think I like the spirit of Nana Benjamin Franklin. He's a very loyal, if you like, messenger, and he just came to deliver what he was asked to do. Wherever the president and the vice are, I'm sure they'll be watching this live on TV. Give him another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we will move on, and this is a time we've all been waiting for. I want to invite the chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, who is also the Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Frimpong Boateng, to speak to us, after which he will formally launch the policy.
Ministers of State, members of Parliament here present, heads of agencies, MMDCs, distinguished members of the diplomatic corps, my friend Aziz here, Winido, UNDP, Niemen, Namen, Nananom, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this interaction with the media at the outdooring of the new framework for mining. I also welcome those who are watching, listening, or reading from your homes, workplaces, hotels, on the road, on the farm, or anywhere you find yourself. Most of you may recall that at his inauguration, His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo made the following statement: we should all recognize the danger we face by the alarming degradation of our environment and work to protect our water bodies and forests, our lands and the oceans. We should learn and accept that we do not own the land, but hold it in trust for generations just unborn, and therefore have a responsibility to take good care of it and all it contains. Ladies and gentlemen, soon after the president was sworn into office, he reiterated his commitment to protect the land and water bodies that had been devastated by illegal mining activities. He initiated measures to stop the illegalities, regularize the small-scale mining sector, take measures to prevent occurrence of illegalities in the future, including reform and strengthening of regulatory agencies, as well as reform of mining laws. Illegal mining operators were washing the ore and discharging waste products into rivers and other water bodies that serve as raw water sources for drinking. These wastes include mine tailings, which are directly discharged into rivers, including the water, a large amount of suspended solids that directly contaminate aquatic habitats. Some mine tailings are toxic and pose serious health threats to human, animal, and plant life. Water bodies which serve as drinking water for local communities and a raw water source for the Ghana Water Company are heavily polluted as a result of illegal mining operations. The brim of Fen and Cobra, Tano, and Prairie rivers, for example, have become extremely expensive to treat for human consumption as a result of the very poor water quality. Yet, these rivers serve as raw water sources for the Ghana Water Company treatment plants in such places as Chebi, Osino, Anyunem, Daboase, and Bonso. Indeed, on many occasions in the first 6 months of 2017, when the Ghana Water Company was compelled to treat the water in its polluted state, the treated water never conformed to drinking water standards of the World Health Organization, and the treated water had to be released to go waste. Just imagine the loss of income that the company suffered. Other water bodies such as Owabi, Oda, in the Amansia district, which are also sources of drinking water for communities, are equally polluted. The black water, the white water, the red water in the northern part of our countries have also not been spared. In the words of my colleague, the Western Regional Minister, the damage that illegal mining has done to the Ghanaian landscape is even worse than hitherto realized. He narrated the experience of an airline pilot who had flown many times between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. And I quote what the airline pilot said. The contrast between the Ivorian landscape and that of Ghana as one flies across the border is beyond belief. The Ghanaian landscape is pockmarked with these ugly craters. The forests are gone. Many of the farms are also decimated or fractured. From the sky, it looks exactly as if the landscape had been deliberately bombed. Ladies and gentlemen, drones flown by the Interministerial Committee gave similar images. It is estimated that 10% of our surface area is degraded, which is about 23,000 square kilometers or 2.4 million hectares. Again, it is estimated that it will take about $12,000 to reclaim and restore 1 hectare. It follows that Ghana will need about $29 billion to reclaim degraded land. Fellow Ghanaians, these terrible effects of illegal mining would be bad enough if all things were equal. But we now have a situation where humanity as a whole is facing the problem of climate change. Climate change is real, and its effects are felt in Ghana. The harmful effects of this phenomenon include loss of vegetation cover, loss of farm and pasture land, increasing incidence of wildfires and drying water bodies, as well as coastal erosion from rising sea levels, causing damage to buildings and infrastructure. It also has effect on our forests. The cumulative effect of illegal mining on our primary forests is devastating. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be surprised to learn that at the turn of the last century, that is around 1900, Ghana had about 8.8 million hectares of primary forest. By 1950, the area had been reduced to 4.2 million hectares. By 1999, only about 1.5 million hectares of primary forest was left. In 2010, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations estimated Ghana's deforestation rate at 135,000 hectares per year. Yet, the rate of afforestation and reforestation combined is only about 20,000 hectares per year. With these figures, one can compute that a time will soon come when there will be no primary forest in Ghana. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all this deforestation has been quite unnecessary. For as is known universally, gold has been mined in our country for over 500 years. Large-scale gold mining activities were also begun by the British in the early 19th century. Before then, small-scale gold mining was being undertaken by the indigenous population in many isolated areas of our country. But so careful and efficient were our forefathers that they never threatened our water bodies with widespread pollution, as is the case today. Since 1992, ruthless practices have been introduced into small-scale gold mining, at the same time as a major influx of foreigners into small-scale mining has occurred. Now, it must be remembered that this has been happening despite the fact that the laws of Ghana especially make small-scale mining the sole preserve of Ghanaians. In the context of our fight against illegal mining, the IMCIM set up by the president defined illegality as follows: mining in riverbeds, that is dredging, which we call Tamfan. Mining on riverbanks, that is within 60 meters of the buffer zone. Diversion of tailings and other effluents into the water bodies. Mining in forest reserves, land degradation, non-reclamation of land, foreigners involved in small-scale mining, use of dangerous chemicals such as mercury and cyanide, and deployment of unlicensed heavy-duty mining vehicles. In addition to the above challenges, the mining sector is informal, the small-scale mining sector is informal in nature, and the regulatory agencies have lacked both human and logistical support required to regulate the industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, in early 2017, a moratorium was put in place to suspend artisanal and small-scale mining operations throughout the country, initially for a period of 6 months. This was then extended to further notice. It was these complex difficulties in the mining sector that made the president establish the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining in April 2017 and charge it to address the issue of illegal mining. The members of the committee are made up of ministers from the foreign ministries: Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Chairperson; Lands and Natural Resources; Local Government and Rural Development; Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs; Regional Reorganization and Development; Sanitation and Water Resources; Interior; Defense; Information; and Mr. Charles Bisu, a presidential staffer, is the secretary. The committee is supported and advised by the Minister for National Security, the National Security Advisor, the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, and the Chief of Staff herself. The ban was put in place to achieve 3 main objectives: sanitization, regularization of the sector, and reform, monitoring, and enforcement. Sanitation of the artisanal and small-scale mining sector had the objective of stopping ongoing illegal activities that in the main were pollution of the water bodies, depletion of forest reserves, destruction of farmlands, use of dangerous chemicals such as mercury, engagement of foreigners in the trade, and the use of unlicensed heavy-duty earth-moving equipment such as excavators and bulldozers. To enforce the ban, Operation Vanguard, made up of 400 men and women, I think they're only men, drawn from the military and police service. It was launched on the 31st of July 2017 and deployed to mining areas mainly in the eastern, central, Ashanti, and western regions to enforce the ban. And the regularization took many forms. There's a school of thought that holds that many miners engage in illegality unknowingly. To give them the benefit of doubt, the government provided funds for miners to be trained in sustainable mining at the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa. In 1.5 years, 3,000 miners were trained, and the cost of training was borne by the government. I hear the call of Mr. Ray Parker from Upper West. We are going to concentrate on your region, and you will be included in the next batch of people to be trained in Takwa. Ladies and gentlemen, unregistered miners who were referred to as galamseyers are now being organized into community mining groups and will be provided with concession to work on legitimately under the supervision of the District Mining Committee. There should therefore be no logical reason why any person in Ghana should engage in illegal mining. I want to repeat that sentence. There should be no logical reason why any person in Ghana should engage in illegal mining. Per the President's directive, the IMCIM undertook a nationwide tour of all mining regions to form and inaugurate ad hoc district committees on illegal mining from the 15th to the 23rd of January this year. Each district committee is composed of the following: MMDCE as chairperson, representative of the relevant metropolitan municipality or the district assembly, representative of the traditional council within the metropolis, municipality, or district, representative of the Minerals Commission, representative of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, representative of the Forestry Commission, a rep from the Immigration Service, representative of the National Security Service, and 3 others appointed by His Excellency the President. A total of 72 such committees have been formed across the country to support the IMCIM fight against galamsey or illegal mining at the district level. The functions of the committee are: 1, to address artisanal and small-scale mining issues that will arise within the district or municipality; to educate and organize small-scale miners within the district or municipality; to eliminate illegal mining activities and promote sustainable mining within the district or municipality; to manage the relationship between small-scale miners and other mineral rights holders, such as large-scale miners; and lastly, to promote social responsibility activity among small-scale miners within the district or municipality. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years, there have been no accurate figures about the number of small-scale mining operators in Ghana. So the IMCIM undertook an exercise to vet all small-scale mining companies. The Minerals Commission provided a list with 1,350 small-scale companies, and they were invited for vetting. The vetting process involved inspection of documents and other measures. We've seen members of the vetting committee. The documents inspected during the vetting exercise included but not limited to mining licenses, environmental and operating permits, tax identification numbers, and company registration details. Again, the IMCIM deployed teams of geologists, surveyors, and other field officers to map out boundaries of all small-scale mining concessions using the global navigation satellite systems and drone technology to verify the existence of the concession and accuracy of their location and size, and further provide a baseline for all artisanal and small-scale mining concessions. A successfully vetted company fulfills the following conditions. It's part of the framework. A company must have valid company registration documents, valid permits and licenses from regulatory agencies such as Minerals Commission, EPA, and Water Resources Commission. The company must have valid tax identification number. The boundaries of the concession should have been mapped out. The concession must have been given a valid ID card from the IMCIM and also a QR code, a quick response code from IMCIM. That company must have had their machines, especially excavators and bulldozers, licensed by DVLA and also electronically tagged by approved agents. reforms, monitoring, and enforcement. The IMCIM embarked on public education and sensitization tour spearheaded by the Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, who toured the country twice and interacted with chiefs, queen mothers, opinion leaders, and in all traditional areas in the country. A group of seasoned journalists came together as a media coalition against illegal mining and also toured the country and interacted with a cross-section of the Ghanaian population. Members of the IMCIM themselves also toured all the mining districts and explained government policy on illegal mining to the population. A documentary film on illegal mining has also been produced and has been shown on many occasions on major TV stations in the country. And we saw about 20 or 15 minutes of that film this morning. Short films and clips have been specially made for social media, such as Facebook and WhatsApp. The government has acquired drones of varying endurance capacities, some of which are also equipped with night vision sensors. Drone pilots have been trained at UMAT, and they have also all received military training. All trainees, apart from those from Operation Vanguard and Minerals Commission, will be working as National Builders Corps in the various mining districts within the district committees. In addition to the drones, a remote sensing pilot project using a 20-meter resolution satellite imagery has been started by the IMCIM to monitor illegal mining activities. Ladies and gentlemen, the IMCIM has also developed Galam Stop, which is a single-window electronic reporting system that integrates data from the various stakeholder agencies such as EPA, Minerals Commission, Water Resources Commission, and the district assemblies. The Galam Stop software monitors the life cycle of mining and related licenses and permits within the artisanal and small-scale mining sector to ensure that the process does not exceed a maximum of 90 days. The software will also help the districts with their weekly reports to the Secretariat in Accra and further help monitor illegal mining activities within their districts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the IMCIM, in collaboration with the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, has registered and installed electronic tracking devices on earth-moving equipment, especially excavators, to ensure that the use of equipment at inappropriate locations are monitored and reported. The IMCIM has also ordered boats to patrol the rivers so as to stop miners who are polluting the river bodies through dredging. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the question that is on the minds of many Ghanaians with regard to illegal mining. How did we get here? Why have past attempts to stop illegality failed? Since 1992, successive governments have been aware about illegal mining activities and their associated socio-economic environmental impacts, but attempts to fight the menace has not been sustained. There have been several swoops organized by government to control the upsurge of Galamsey operations. In 2014, for example, an operation was carried out to arrest Galamsey miners across the country. A number of foreigners were arrested and deported. However, the commitment to sustain the exercise to preserve and protect the environment was lacking. The reason for failure of attempts to curb this menace in the past include, but not limited to, the following. 1, lack of political will. 2, security operations not sustained. 3, weak capacity of regulatory institutions, lack of community involvement, lack of alternative livelihood programs, lack of land reclamation and restoration exercise, and then large-scale concession owners leasing portions of their land to small-scale operators. So the question is, what is different now? President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as we saw in the clip, has demonstrated the greatest political will ever to fight illegality in the mining sector. At a meeting with Parliament chiefs and religious leaders here in this room on the 10th of June 2017, the President made a profound statement, as we heard, to the effect that he was prepared to put his presidency on line to fight and win this war, to fight against the destruction of our environment and biodiversity. This will be further demonstrated when, on the 7th of July, the President instructed the Interministerial Committee to devise extensive and intrusive monitoring and enforcement mechanisms that will ensure that miners do not repeat past mistakes and pollute the environment in the future. The moratorium, or what some may say the ban, forms a relatively small part of the measures the government envisages to improve the small-scale mining sector and also to protect the environment. Also contemplated are reforms in the minerals law. So these events really form the new framework. The degeneration in the small-scale mining sector came about partly because of some weaknesses in the small-scale mining law and the inability or lack of capacity of the regulatory agencies, especially Minerals Commission and EPA, to enforce the existing regulations. The IMCIM made certain recommendations for reform that have been approved by Cabinet. The reforms are meant to, 1, halt operational activities of the so-called large-scale mining companies employing small-scale technology, abolish the tributor system that allows business people to acquire large concessions and parcel them out to small-scale miners. 3, we're going to abolish the practice of bulk sampling, where mining companies that have protecting permits or prospecting permits actually engage in mining under the guise of bulk sampling. 4, halt the practice whereby mining companies abuse prospecting licenses and engage in actual mining without mining licenses. And 5, amend laws that allow foreigners to provide mining services to small-scale miners. And 6, ban the fabrication, transportation, and use of dredging mining equipment on the water bodies. And the Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development has asked me to repeat this sentence. Ban the fabrication, transportation, and use of dredging equipment that are used on the mining bodies, which we call chanfan. Ban the fabrication, transportation, and use of dredging equipment for mining on water bodies. And lastly, we are going to establish a regime to legalize community mining. Mining reforms. The government will introduce reforms with respect to the mineral sector governance, policy, and regulations with focus on small-scale mining. These include measures to ensure transparency in mineral resource management. There will be the formation of the Geological Investigation Steering Committee by the Minerals Commission and the Ghana Geological Survey Authority. In fact, the Minerals Commission has taken the initiative to form this committee. That is the Geological Investigation Steering Committee. The Minerals Commission and the Geological Survey Authority will work much more closely. Their steering committee will be resourced to provide improved geology for small-scale mining operators in order to help them identify suitable land for mining minerals. This will ensure that small-scale mining operations are conducted on predetermined mineable reserves so as to curb the speculative and unsustainable approach to mining currently being practiced by the miners. And again, this practice will reduce the investment risk on unnecessary land degradation and water pollution arising from frequent wild searches for mineralized areas. As I mentioned, there will also be reforms at the Minerals Commission, and the good thing is that the Commission itself has initiated these reforms. And the reforms initiated by the Minerals Commission will have the following effects, among others: enhance its presence and visibility for deterrent effect, enhance that clients have access to services of the Commission, improve collaboration with key government agencies, and above all, allow for effective supervision, monitoring, and evaluation of mineral operations and explorations in the country. Also, there will be reforms with regard to allocation of mineral concessions, licenses, and contracts. Acquisition of small-scale mining licenses is a process that is supposed to take a maximum of 5 months. However, in reality, it may take over 3 years, sometimes 5 years. And miners, in their frustration, will go and do what they know how to do best. Measures will be taken to ensure compliance with the prescribed duration. This will include automation of the application process to make it easier and faster. The GalamStop software introduced by the IMCIM is currently the best tool for this purpose. The reform will also enhance interagency collaboration in the management and development of the mineral resources in Ghana. There will be reorganization of the roles of the regulatory agencies. We see the need to integrate health, environmental, and mine safety issues under one agency. In industrial practice, health, safety, and environment generally go together. Soon after the ban was instituted, the IMCIM commenced an alternative livelihood program designed and set in motion by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, as we saw in the film. Presently, the ministry, through the Department of Community Development, are implementing alternative livelihood programs in 18 selected districts in 5 regions adversely affected by illegal mining. Ghana has ratified the Minamata Convention that seeks to ban mercury in artisanal and small-scale mining in order to reduce health risk. MESTI, that is the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and UMAT, the University of Mines and Technology, will conduct a nationwide sensitization program on the benefits of direct smelting of gold concentrates. UMAT will train and monitor the operations of direct smelting gold concentrate. The locally fabricated furnace called Sikabuchia, developed by UMAT, will be used for technological transfer. Other gold recovery technologies without the use of mercury will be explored. I'm gradually coming to a close, but let me say what the meaning of lifting of the ban is. You say you're going to lift the ban, what do we mean? Lifting of the ban will allow mining companies with valid company registration certificates, valid permits and licenses from the regulatory authorities, Minerals Commission, EPA, and Water Resources Commission, tax identification numbers, companies who have had their mining equipment licensed and electronically tagged by DVLA, and whose concessions have been vetted and given a QR code to go back to work. Mining equipment, especially excavators and bulldozers that have not been licensed by DVLA and tagged with electronic devices will not be permitted for mining purposes, small-scale mining purposes. All mining companies are expected to have at least one person that has been trained in sustainable mining in Tarkwa. This is very important. Having said what the ban means, let me say what the ban does not mean. The lifting of the ban does not mean that the ban on Galamsey has been lifted and that they can go back to work. Galamsey is still illegal. So-called Galamseyers have been trained at UMAT and organized into community mining groups. Lifting of the ban does not mean that foreign miners who are hiding in Ghana or who escape to neighboring countries can come and continue their illegal activities. It does not mean security operations to enforce compliance with mining regulations and approved practices will be discontinued. Lifting of the ban does not mean that there will be no monitoring. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that our President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has demonstrated the political will to sanitize, regularize, and reform the small-scale mining sector. The Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining embarked on a program to systematically reform the sector and at the same time preserve the integrity of the environment. Miners who out of ignorance might have done the wrong thing have been given the opportunity to receive proper training at UMAT in sustainable small-scale mining operations. Individuals who wanted to stop mining altogether were afforded training in alternative livelihood trades. There has been adequate education of miners, chiefs, and religious leaders, opinion leaders, and the general population. All registered small-scale miners were given the opportunity to appear before a vetting committee to have their documents regularized. The ban on small-scale mining is being lifted for the compliant ones to go back to work within the regularized and reformed framework. The list of compliant miners will be published in the electronic and print media on Monday, the 17th of December, 2018. This information will be made available on all the notice boards of the municipal and district assemblies. Unregistered or illegal miners who were referred to as Galamseyers are being organized into community mining cooperatives and provided with concessions to work on legitimately under the supervision of the district committees. There should therefore be no logical reason why any person in Ghana should engage in illegal mining. The IMCIM has acquired drones and other devices to monitor and enforce mining regulations. Also, the IMCIM has developed a computer software called GalamStop that will help regulate activities of regulatory agencies such as Minerals Commission, Water Resources Commission, and EPA, and monitor the life cycle of mining and related licenses and permits. Let us remind ourselves that mining in the riverbed, mining on the banks of the rivers within 60 to 100 meters buffer, diversion of tailings and other effluents into water bodies, mining in forest reserves, non-reclamation of degraded land, foreigners involved in small-scale mining, use of dangerous chemicals such as mercury and cyanide, and deployment of unlicensed heavy-duty earth-moving equipment constitute illegality. Heavy mining equipment that have not been licensed and tagged will be confiscated to the state. Going forward, there will be credible security operations to enforce mining laws and regulations. Government will reform the regulatory agencies to make them more efficient and responsive to environmental and health issues. On behalf of my colleagues on the IMCIM, we thank Ghanaians of goodwill for their support. We commend the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners for their cooperation. We appreciate the work done by our professors from the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa. We know that the war to preserve the environment might take a long time, but we are prepared to fight every battle and eventually win the war. On behalf of my colleagues on the IMCIM, I thank His Excellency the President for his leadership and unusual commitment to the fight against illegal mining to preserve the environment and our biodiversity. Having successfully implemented the strategies outlined in the roadmap, the ban on small-scale mining is being lifted as from Monday, 17 December 2018. I didn't finish the sentence. Having successfully implemented the strategies outlined in the roadmap, the ban on small-scale mining is being lifted as from Monday, 17 December, for miners who have gone through vetting successfully to go back to work within the regularized and reformed framework. Ladies and gentlemen, the framework as outlined in this address is therefore duly launched. I thank you for your attention, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Thank you.
And let me also add that those of us who want to access highlights of the policy or the whole policy, you can visit the website of the committee, which is imcimgh.com. That is imcimgh.com. I'll repeat it again. imcimgh.com. So visit the website, and I'm sure you can have access to highlights of the policy, or even if you want the whole policy, you can read it there. Before we continue, let me quickly acknowledge the presence of the Commissioner, Customs Division of the GRA, Mr. Isaac Krenzel, who's also joined us. Thank you very much. And earlier, I did mention that one of the members of the IMCIM is the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Kweku Asuma Chireme. He joined us while Chairman was giving his speech. Let's formally welcome him. Thank you very much. So we're almost wrapping up. Let's now invite the Minister for Information, Honorable Kojo Ponkrumah, to give us a concluding remarks.
Thank you. So at the Interministerial Committee, we call him Galamsey Chairman or Galamsey Professor. I want to thank you for your leadership and the work that you have led us to do on this enterprise. And as I saw our friends, the small-scale miners, applauding when you said 17th December, I was wondering, what if you say 2021? But it is well. Colleagues, the big message is that the ban is lifted from the 17th of December for those who have had their concessions validated. A new policy framework has been rolled out. Professor has outlined it. And for those who want to fit into that policy framework, who want to get licenses, validation, community mining, the Secretariat is open. We're willing and ready to work with you so that you can do that. But for those who intend to go back to old methods that have hurt our water bodies and our land, as Professor mentioned, the security enterprise would ensure that that does not happen. We want to, at this point, ask for collaboration and support. First, I do know that the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining is here. If your leaders can just rise and also give us a wave so that we can also acknowledge them. Mr. Ashigbe and his team, where are you? I think they are somewhere in the auditorium. There they are. Let's give them a big round of applause. We want to salute you for helping bring national consciousness to this exercise and for making it comparatively or relatively easier for us even to start on this exercise. But as we're moving forward, we need a lot more collaboration. The President, in his inaugural address, asked all of us to be citizens and not spectators. I find that often, sometimes when people take a jab at government, then they say, oh, we are being citizens and not spectators. This is where we also want to see a lot of citizens. Our friends in the media, we need you to be repeating the message, to spend some time to outline the new policy framework, to do a lot of programming content on it so that people can understand. Many of the people out there genuinely did not even know the effect of their work. It will take your partnership and your continued education on the roadmap and on the new policy framework to help us get that total understanding out there. MMDCs who are here with us this morning, who are also leading the compliance efforts on ground, we need you to be stronger now more than ever to ensure that as this announcement has been made, particularly for those who would like, I'm sure you saw in the documentary, somebody said, oh, he had 2 weeks and he has calculated his own 2 weeks. We do expect that there are some who, just by the mere mention of the fact that a new policy framework is being rolled out, there are some who will just get up and seek to get on the ground. But this is where we need you to be stronger now more than ever. Yourself and those who will be involved in the next phase of the security exercise, we need you to be stronger now than ever to ensure that things are properly done. We also want to take a moment to speak to citizens of this country. It is Ghanaians who lead this exercise. We do know that foreign nationals participate, but they come on the back of Ghanaians. Ghanaians provide logistics for them. Ghanaians see them go into the forest and water bodies on a daily basis. Ghanaians are aware of those who do the wrong. We ask you now to rise and support the exercise to get the right things done. The survival of the next generation of Ghanaians, the survival of generations unborn is at stake. And all of us have a responsibility to join in and ensure that the right thing is done. And so in conclusion, on behalf of the Interministerial Committee, we want to thank all of you for being here, for your tolerance, for your partnership. But the game now goes to a next level, and we need that partnership to be retained so that we can achieve the benefits at the end of the day. History and posterity will judge us harshly if we fail. All of us, not just the security agencies, not just the institutions, not just the Interministerial Committee, all of us. And we ask you all to chip in to help us succeed. The companies that have had their licenses validated will be published, also with the outline of their concessions will be published both in print and online from Monday morning. And that is what the security agencies will use in determining who is allowed to resume operations and who is not allowed to resume operations. We thank you and we pray for your compliance.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kojo Ponkrumah, Minister for Information. So we'll wrap it up with a closing prayer. And once again, we will invite Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Akrofi to do us the honor. While he joins us, let me quickly make this announcement. So after
And there you have it. The ban on small-scale mining has been announced. The lifting of the ban has been announced, and as we are told by the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, that will happen on Monday, December 17, 2018. There have been a lot of calls since the ban was lifted, and finally it's here. But he did put a caveat to that the ban has been lifted only for those whose documents have been vetted, whose equipment have also been fitted with some tracking devices and gone through other processes that the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining has set up. And the minister took his time to explain that the lifting of the ban does not permit foreigners who left as a result of the ban to come back and continue their activities. And it also does not mean that security operations on the ground will not continue. He also did mention that they would definitely be monitoring events in the various mining communities across the country. He shared a lot of facts with us about the hectares of land we've lost to degradation as a result of illegal mining, and did mention that we need about $29 billion to deal with that situation that was caused by illegal mining. And he also talks about reforms in the minerals law that have been considered, and mentioned that bulk sampling will be abolished, and mining companies will be prevented from abusing prospective mining. If you've been following us as we've told stories, my colleague Erastus Asare Donko reported that some miners in the Krobo forest were arrested, and they claimed they had documents, but apparently those were prospecting documents. And so the minister says that they're going to stop both small and large mining companies from mining proper with prospective mining documents, and also amend laws that allow foreigners to provide mining services to small-scale miners. So we will bring you more on this, definitely bring you reactions because it's quite a bulky document. But let's take you to the venue now for some reactions.
Science and Technology, Professor Frimpong Boateng, who is also the leader of the Interministerial Committee tasked to sanitize the system for the lifting of the ban, which we have realized today, close to 2 years after the ban was placed by government to sanitize the environment largely. But I would like us to go through one or two of the points raised by the Sector Minister, Professor Frimpong Boateng, that yes, the ban has been lifted, but what does that mean? It will allow mining companies with the requisite documents, if you like, and also you may have the requisite documents, but if you don't have tracks installed in your earth-moving equipment by the DVLA, then you will not be able to go back to your concession, as it were, to undertake mining activities. And so that is one of the areas that the miners should focus on going forward. We've also now been told that training by UMAT will be done on essential sustainable mining without mercury. So those who have licenses to go back to their mining concessions would have training, or would have to undergo some kind of training by UMAT on essential mining, essentially sustainable mining, so that you don't deal with mercury at the various mining sites across the country. Now, Professor Frimpong Boateng also mentioned that the fight against illegal mining started way back in 1992, but what was lacking, he made a lot of points. One which stood out was that there was no political will. Now, this administration, according to the professor, would undertake this exercise with the requisite political will that is required to fight the illegality across the country. I have one of the small-scale miners, and I must mention that there was cheers here in the auditorium when the minister announced that the ban had been lifted. Dr. Kodo, how did the announcement touch you?
I was very
announcement of the lifting of the ban.
It's a big relief, but
for the purposes of those who do not know you, in what capacity are you speaking?
Well, my name is Dr. Chris Koda. I'm chairman of Solomon Investment, a company initially meant to do the work of refinery in Ghana, but right from the beginning we felt that the Galamsey issue was a tedious task for even marketing products from the areas of small scale, and since then embarked on a long journey with government to give advisory role left and right as to how to sanitize the environment. The most difficult thing, it is right that Professor Frimpong said it, is the necessary clouds, support of every citizen, including the government, to finally come to a strong will enough to find a reorganization, restructuring, and a framework for the development of the small-scale activity.
From the onset of the ban, you said it was not necessary for us to place ban on small-scale miners. With hindsight now, would you say it was a good move by the Akufo-Addo-led government?
Well, I do remember in our last previous meeting, I did tell you that it was not necessary to place a ban because the whole process of small-scale activity is a whole process which doesn't end with production. It moves all the way up to marketing, and the marketing activity with all the different interferences of expertise, sections, and the rest. Its capacity building takes a long time. So I will end up seeing that within the next maybe 5 years, that is how our company has developed a support services to build capacity for 5 years for small-scale miners to be really professional. This long period that they've stopped it, they've done a part of it, which is merely the framework necessary to regularize yourself. The production activities, how do you monitor how the products that are brought in, including chemicals, how do you take care of it professionally? Even from one small-scale activity to another, they do have different terrain. They do need different expertise. The personnel are different. Then they come to their marketing. The marketing, you want world price or you want local price? How do you make sure that the purity of your gold that you've taken will meet international standard? They will not cheat you. How do you get immigration? How do you get World Bank of Ghana? How do you get environmental? It is a whole complex thing that the poor miner at no time will master unless you put him through a regime. Just like other programs which exist, they give franchises. We wanted to come in as a franchise, and we are still discussing it, but it is almost impossible to have them in perfection. Those who have been trained, it is my belief that they can only start beginning to discover the whole thing. It has taken us, some of us, 16 years of research and development in the particular context of Ghana to get to know from the mines to the world market what it entails to sell gold. As you are taking it out of the ground, you already have to go by pegging it to the world market price. And all the processes, even to your living in the country, is such a complexity that we all need to put our hands in to help them in a more organized, systemic way. And the work done by them, this is excellent. That is why I said they've done well, and we feel relieved. I'm happy. In hindsight, what they have done gives me two positions. One, that's how much it takes only to take care of the legal framework and part of the production. By this time, they will want to go to the pure methods of production technicalities. By the time they go on to teach them how to market it in the world price, by the time they talk about refineries or value addition, we'll need 20 years if the ban had to continue. So it's good. We have sowed the seed, and they are going to allow us to build capacity for the betterment of our country.
He also mentioned that there would be a predetermined concession quote, if you like, so that we don't invest in areas just to end up realizing that, no, there are no minerals here before you move on. How is that going to help, particularly the environment? That's what I'm looking at, not about the investment of the miner, but how is that policy going to help protect the environment?
That policy will help the environment a lot. It will help everybody. In actual fact, it will help the miners, it will help the country, and it will help the government, because they continuously up to now try to go and do it also on trial and error basis, and they create a wide devastation. 10% of the area that they cover before they discover the necessary gold quantity concentration is too much, and that's what is causing a vast devastation. And secondly, by the time they reach that level, they are more concerned about they are making profit and moving on. So they don't even do rehabilitation or reclamation. So that is where it is very important that they do that. Lastly, for international companies, investors, and even the credibility of our country, the capacity of stock, estimates capacity of gold in the ground at surface level as well as deep down are usually one of the most important things for the credibility of Ghana government even to negotiate international finance.
Okay. So you think it's a good move among the others?
In fact, even people should help, including our company, Solomon Investment, give them the necessary technological as well as financial and technical resources to promote that to a extent where we can have a three-dimensional ability even to determine what is in the ground.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris Podo. He is the boss of Solomon Investment. They deal in gold, if you like. I would like to take a quick remark. Unfortunately, time is not our best ally right now, so we just wrap it up. And you just heard from the Accra International Conference Center, the sector minister for and Professor Frimpong Boateng, who is also the leader of the Interministerial Committee in charge of the management of illegal, the lifting of the ban on all forms of small-scale mining across the country. But it doesn't mean everybody is going back to work. It's not a free for all. It is for those who have the requisite documents with TIN numbers, with track installed in their moving equipment. These individuals are those who can now go back to their mining concessions and mine. If you do not have your TIN number, if you are not, having the trackers installed in your earth-moving equipment, you are still considered largely an illegal miner, and you have no business going back to your concession. From the Accra International Conference Center here in Accra, Latif Idris reporting for JoyNews, and back to you in studio.
Great, Latif Idris there giving us a wrap of events at the Accra International Conference Center. There definitely will be a lot more analysis here on the JoyNews channel as we continually repeat what has been said by the minister in charge of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Basically, what you need to know is that that ban has been lifted from 17th of December 2018. That's on Monday. Do stay with us here on the JoyNews channel as we bring you more on Bernice Abubeidul Ansah. JoyNews Interactive is next.